Hi, thanks so much for joining me today. This is Spiritual PsychoBabble, and I am Sista Lyn. I'm really happy that you could be here today. This is my very first actual YouTube video, and so I just kind of wanted to introduce myself a little bit and tell you what we're going to be talking about. We could be talking about any freaking thing, okay? I'm a Gen Xer who just turned 50. Ah, and I am a spiritual warrior. I have been a spiritual spark of God ever since I was created, and so that's just how that is. And I know the same thing for you too. That's the funny part. Um, I have a lot of opinions. They've been formed over those 50 years, but I hope I'm not too so close-minded that I can't form new opinions, because that's why we're here. I mean, we're here to talk about it. Let's talk about it. Are we crazy? Or is the world going crazy? When I was 19, I went to my like my general practitioner, and I said, Dr. Walsh, I'm going crazy. And he looked at me and he said, honey, you're not going crazy. It's when you think you're crazy, everybody thinks they're crazy. It's when you think that you're the one sane person left and everybody else is crazy, that's when you're really crazy. Well, I'm past that point. I'm pretty sure that there's a handful of us sane people left, but for the most part, um, yeah, the muggle speak is pretty thick out there. But that's okay, because we're learning to transition from muggles to enlightened beings, I suppose would be a good way to say it. Okay. Genetically, I'm half angelic, and so I do have a lot of spiritual sensitivity. Um, but I'm also half human, so whatever that makes me, I'm not the only one. I know there's a lot of, we're star seeded, indigo. I know the crystals are the younger ones, but hey, us Generation Xers, we're pretty sensitive folks. And it's not just Gen X. I mean, there's baby boomers that are indigos, but now we're adults. We're adults. And we've probably, if you're anything like me, you've been labeled as like, bipolar, anxiety disorders, depressive, manic, hyper religiosity. What the fuck is that? Because you can believe in God, but don't believe too much. Because if you have too much faith, then at that point, yeah, then you're crazy. Um, there's a menagerie of labels. Right now I like the agoraphobia. It's like I have agoraphobia. Okay. Well, the fact is, I don't like to go out into the world like if I'm going to have to deal with assholes. I'd rather just stay home and be with God. And my cats. um, so there's a lot of things to cover. There's a lot of media out there. I mean, I'm not really a conspiracy theorist, so to speak, and I really don't know anything about anything. The older I get, the more I realize that's true. But what I do know, I really know. I know that the main thing in life is to love. I trust in God with all of my heart. Let's say that first. Faith is important. It's important to praise God, to understand that God is working as us and through us continuously. We are all a part of the same one God. Okay, we're all a divine spark of that creative being that wanted to make you and make me. And he wanted us to be here together in love and harmony, not all this craziness about fighting each other and violence. And we're not here for that. I'm not here for that. When I was young, I mean, it was like I grew up, thankfully, I got to grow up in a really cool time. I got to grow up in the 80s and, well, the 70s and 80s. And, but I turned 13 in 1980. How cool is that? So, I got to experience like the world back when it was still kind of, or at least America, back when America meant a lot different than it means now. I mean, America used to mean that we cared about each other. Let's crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea. Did everybody forget about that part? Because that to me was really important. And it has to do not just with like, I had a traditional Christian upbringing in a Baptist church, okay? Since then, I understand the need for organized religion, although I think that it really kind of messes people up when it comes down to it, because honestly, your spirituality, your personal relationship with the divine is what's important. And at the end of the day, your karma, how you treat each other. And so Jesus Christ did teach us. He did teach us. He said to us to love thy neighbor as thyself. So, I mean, I love me and I love you and I love my neighbors. That doesn't mean that I have to put up with everything that they say or that I have to engage with them. It just means that I have to love them. I have to respect them and understand that they have a right to be here, just like I do. And they have a right to be happy and free, or they have a right to be grumpy and miserable. I mean, that's really up to them. But the fact is, we're all working together. It's collective consciousness. So since we know that, I think that it's really important that we take a few minutes to remember that every day, every single encounter that you have, even with the assholes and the muggles and the motherfuckers in the world that you just want to punch in the face. Stop. Don't engage. You know what? That stress, that anger, that's all bad for you. So there is no point in even engaging in it, because realistically, there's an easier way. All we have to do is believe in each other, uplift each other, love your neighbor as yourself. Treat your neighbor the way you would want to be treated. It's the freaking golden rule. We learned it from the time we were babies. Do unto others as you want others to do unto you. So now, there's a lot of topics that are going to be involved in this, because there's a lot of haters out there, and we can't change the haters. I mean, the haters gonna hate, 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 hate. I don't know if I can even make reference to songs, because I'm not really sure about what the legal parts of it are. But the fact is, I mean, you can't change them. You can't fix stupid. I learned that young, thankfully. So the fact is that the best thing you can do is pray for them or hold them in their highest good in your heart, and know that for them. Know that they're on their own personal journey, and respect them. The fact is, there's a lot of people on this freaking planet, and we have to stay that way for a long time, unless somehow or another we get depopulated, and everybody's going to crash into Earth, or some UFOs are going to come kidnap us. I'm not really sure exactly how it's all going to play out. Chances are it's probably just going to keep going like it's always been going, I mean, and I'm just going to keep getting older, and I'll just wind up some little old lady, and that's great. But the fact is that I don't want to be a little old lady that just is bitter and hateful because the world is bitter and hateful, and that's not me. I am full of life and love, and I would like that. Not just would I like that, I'm going to know that. I'm going to know that for you, and I'm going to know that for me, and I'm going to know that for everybody out there, that we're capable of it. We are capable of it because we are all a spark of divine love. God created us out of love, and so knowing that, and knowing that it's all about the peace that we have inside, and sharing that peace with each other. And if you can't engage with somebody because they piss you off, then you know what? Just don't fucking engage with them. How hard is that? Walk away. Be a big person. You don't have to prove anything to anybody. You don't have to show everybody who's smarter, or prove something is right, or prove you're right, because it's not about being right or wrong. It's about acceptance and love and trusting the powers that be. And the powers that be, I'm not talking about Illuminati. I'm not talking about the Democrats, the Republicans, presidents. I'm not talking about any of that. I'm talking about the Pope. I'm talking about God. I'm talking about collective consciousness. I'm talking about what we can do to help each other out. So this video is really just for all of us. It's like church lady chat. I mean, we're going to talk about God. We're going to talk about spirituality. We're going to talk about a little bit about politics, and maybe sometimes edgy conspiracy theories. I mean, because seriously, there are a lot of crazy shit going on out there. There are a lot of crazy shit. That's my inner hillbilly coming out. So anyway, I just wanted to shoot a quick video today to let you guys know what this is even going to be about. Spiritual psychobabble is just that. It's just spiritual psychobabble. Let's just talk about it. Put it out there. Know that we are all one, and that God made it that way on purpose, because we're all one divine consciousness. The only thing you take with you is love. So love everybody, love everything, love you, love God, love life. I mean, it's a choice. You choose to love. You choose to be grateful. You know what? I choose love. I choose to love you. I choose to love our president. I choose to love this country. I choose to love the world. I choose to love the universe. I love it all. I just love. I'm a big love ball when it comes down to it. Okay? So the word of the day is love. Okay, try to be good, try to be peace, and know that you are fucking perfect just exactly the way you are. So, we'll talk about all kinds of things, and I hope you tune in. So, click the subscribe button, share if you think you're interested, come back, even if you just want to come back and check me out a couple times. This is my first video, so who even knows where it's going to go from here? I'm just glad to get this first one out of the way. Okay, peace and love to y'all, brothers, sisters of God.